So today, I will be building a KBD Fans KBD67 Lite, one of my favorite keyboards of all time. Super affordable, super budget friendly, and really easy to build as well. I'm pretty sure there's a guide somewhere. You know what? I don't need a build guide. I'm gonna do this just on the fly to the build. So there's a lot of stuff in here. A lot of stuff that I like to reuse from old times, like these. I'm not sure if I like these. I don't think I'll be using that actually. These are my things that I put in here. Like I plan on using these and I put this in there, but I don't plan on using that. Cool. And it's also a soldered build. Haha, surprise. It should be pretty easy to put together. The first thing I have to do is stabilizers. Holy mod or no, Zoom 65 came with these Teflon strips and I'm like, oh, that's convenient. Let me just reuse or use the rest of them for this build. So yes, Holy mod, but easy version Holy mod. The pretty desk mat, thank you. It's actually my own desk mat that you can buy right now. There's a nighttime version and a daytime version. Get in there. Even the Teflon strips. Holy mod's just hard. Dabs are kind of nerve-wracking. Dabs are probably the worst on a soldered build, but if you have a hot swap build, you're good. You're good. You can just undo and redo as many times as you want. So here's what happened. I joined the R3 group buy. I bought the tealish case, and then I was like, oh, I sort of want a white case too. So I bought the white case. But then I didn't realize that the white case didn't come with like any of the other stuff that you need to make it work. So then I went searching around for parts. I found the PC plates, I found the silicone, and I found a PCB that would fit the case. And that's just where we're at. It's like 1:30. There's this cool thing called time zones. Time zones is a pain. We should delete time zones. I don't think that would work out. We should delete daylight savings time. That's what we really need to delete. Every time they do daylight savings time, I have to change my entire schedule. So annoying. They passed that bill? Really? They're actually canceling daylight savings time? Holy they're actually gonna do that. That's awesome. I'm going with dielectric grease for this one. So freaking hard working with soldered PCBs. Why won't you go in? Go in. No, wow stick stabilizers are easier to put in without wow stick. Is it like this? Oh yeah, it's definitely like this. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do soldering today. Pretty stress-free. You just need a fan or be outside or be safe. That's what matters. So these switches are SP Star Meteor Whites. They're pre-lube, they're linear. They sound great, and I'm gonna put them in, then I'll solder them. This is great. I don't have to support any hot swap sockets. I could just plop them in. Best part about this plate on this PCB is that it doesn't matter where you put the switch, because if you put it through the plate, the holes down there will just align anyways. Amazing. Yeah, Moki Pro Yellow is a good option. I mean, they're awesome. To me, they're basically like a super awesome budget linear. If you saw the linear tier list, I put them in S tier because I love them. I think they're all in their places. Okay, soldering equipment is all here. Let me turn on the fan and it's gonna get a little bit loud. Sleeping kitty. Yeah, she got her flu medication today. So she's been tired, very tired. All the animals got their flu medication today. They're all tired. All right. It's the right temperature. Soldering time. I actually want to protect my desk mat. And now everything's ready. This video was sponsored by Cometeer, a new way of making coffee without having to leave your home. It's so convenient, you can make it in under a minute. Here's how I would make iced coffee. First step, you get your Cometeer capsule. Now if you're smart like me, you're gonna thaw it in your fridge overnight if you plan on making iced coffee. So I've got ice in a glass. You also need water, about 6 to 8 ounces. Open this bad boy up. Pour that in there. That's pretty much all you need to do. You can give it a stir. I'm gonna add some milk. Boom. Now, the first time I drank this coffee, I was like, wow, this tastes better than coffee house coffee, except I can make it real fast and real easy. Delicious. For a limited time, you can get $20 off your first purchase of Cometeer plus free shipping when you use my code CLICK20 at cometeer.com/switchandclick. Link is down below in the description. Thank you to Cometeer for sponsoring this video. Cheers. soldering mat. Yeah, it's by American Haptics. It is a really great investment if you plan on doing any heated kind of work. I thought it was a little expensive at first, $80 for a mat, but then I was like, I've been using it a lot. I use it when I lube switches, I use it when I solder, I use it when I desolder. Just everything. It's so easy to wash. If you don't ever want to do soldered builds, like, it's not even that more expensive to get hot swap. A lot of really good keyboards nowadays don't even come with a soldered option. Why would you solder over hot swap? I wouldn't. If you can find the hot swap thing, I would go hot swap every time. There was once upon a time where I thought soldered gives you more permanence or more like connection to your keyboard, but I think that's a complete lie. Hot swap's just as good. You get to experiment a little bit more. It's easy too, super easy. I tend to go overboard with the solder, and it's not the prettiest, but it gets the job done. Sort of my motto. Not perfect, but it got the job done. There's no way I could build keyboards as a commission thing. I think I would just get bad reviews. It'd just be like, these solder joints are inconsistent. And I'd be like, well, what do you expect? Right, some are good, some are a little fat, and then some are too thin. So I'm gonna fix the ones that are too thin. That's one, that's two. All right, it's ready to test. Ooh, lights. Hopefully everything just works. It did. Everything works. I did a perfect job. So therefore, I can put all the solder away and then put everything back together. Okay, I'm back. It is keycap time. I wanted something that would match the white and the gray. So these are from Drop. They're called the Vintage Set. They look a little old school, but they're also quite clean looking. Keycaps match switches, matches case. I call this grayscale. What do you think? No. I call this monochrome. Pretty clean. Old people keyboard. It's not vintage. It's just old people keyboard. Let's call it a classic. Vintage classic. Muted vintage classic. Boomer keyboard. Oh no, my cable's too fat. My cable's too fat. I have to find another cable. But in the meantime, I could give you a sound test. It's pretty good. I think I could definitely put some kind of spacebar foam in there. I could use something in there. But other than that, I dig it. It's pretty awesome. Finished building the vintage classic modern marbly top clean keyboard. Very excited with how it came out. Maybe put a little bit something in the spacebar, but other than that, it looks great. A little bit of an update. The PCB that I actually used for it was incompatible with the KBD67 Lite case. So I had to be creative and made this workaround. That's a little bit sketchy, but it works. So here it is. All I had to do was sand the USB-C hole of the case, and now it works. You can connect it. It works perfectly fine. That pretty much is the only part that was incompatible. The USB-C port on the PCB was too shallow. The cable couldn't reach it. But now that I've sanded it down, it can. And everything works perfectly just as good. And another update I made to the spacebar is I used a thin layer of this sound dampening material called Noico. I punched out a few holes. Now I could tear off this adhesive part if I wanted to, but since this is going to another person, you know, I don't know if they want me to do that. So I'm just gonna leave the adhesive part on, and when you close it, well, it's a lot less hollow now than it was. And it's nice. So that's the keyboard. I hope he's happy with it. I'm gonna call it Vintage Classic. It looks fairly nice.